Also would love to hear just a little bit of an explanation on budget versus ad creatives. So say, for example, we had someone on here today who only has $1,000 to spend on ads, and then we have another person who's got $20,000 to spend on ads. Should the person with only $1,000 to spend on ads, say, only have 6 creatives where they're testing, and the person with $20,000 testing 100 ads that they're testing? Or how does that sort of work?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a good way to think about it. Like there's so many variants, right? Like what are you spending the ads on? If it's a low cost thing that you can get customers very easily, then the $1,000 could be more productive than $20,000 if you're advertising in the financial space, for example. So there's so many variables, and the other thing to keep in mind with ads, I don't want to go into ads too much because it's not what the summit's about, but the other thing to keep in mind is that you can reinvest any money that comes back quickly from your ads. So if you start with $1,000, if your offer is great and your targeting is good and people are buying, then maybe after that $1,000, you now have $2,000. So why not just keep spending it and you can keep growing that way? So yeah, there's so many different things that you need to be thinking about when it comes to that. But I think, yeah, probably a good place to start is if you've got a small amount of budget, then test only a few ads. If you've got a larger amount, then test a few more.
I love that. If someone was brand new to ads, what is the number one thing that you think they should think about when they're doing their creatives?
Who is the closest competitor to me who is running ads? What does their creative look like? And how can I replicate that for my brand?
Do you feel like there is any issues with the replication of just basically taking someone else's design and copying it, or no? Because yeah, I didn't even pick up that they were similar until you had them side by side.
Yeah, no, it's what everybody has done since the beginning of advertising and business. So everything is just a copy of something else. And people hate to hear that, especially creative people, but it's true.
It's sad, but true. If it works, keep doing it. As if he has asked, would you consider doing a summit on ads in the future to help the newbies? I'm going to say absolutely. Thanks for the idea. But
Interesting. Yeah. And add AI business summit. This could be interesting.
yeah, absolutely. And I know there are even some tools. I know some other ad people and they actually use tools to write the literal ad copy and all of that sort of stuff and the hooks and all of that they give their clients who are, say, coaches and people building a personal brand. They'll literally give them the whole script that they need to record. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff out there that could be taught around and learnt around it. And even down to what we're saying here, Mitch, and we don't want to go obviously too deep into it, but knowing how much to put in at the start and how to scale the ads. And so it is obviously a topic that we really could deep dive into at another time, I'm sure. So if you guys are interested in that, just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing about running ads is probably make sure you have a converting offer first, unless you've got money to spend. So there's so many ways to think about it, but if you only have a small amount and you want to make sure you get a return on that, make sure your offer is converting beforehand, which means you could just run a ton of organic traffic, which means creating a ton of content first in order to test that offer. Now, if you have money to spend, you can do it the opposite way, which is typically what we do is before we run anything, we'll test $400 or $500 to see if it's going to convert with an ad. And if it does, then that's when we'll build out the offer. So yeah, it just depends where you are in business.
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.